What's going on, guys? Snag here, and it's time for our midweek rugby league chat, guys, where we go over some of the news, some of the thing that's going on and thoughts of. So I'll be answering some of your guys' questions you've dropped throughout the week, guys, and if you ever do want me to answer any of your questions, just drop them in the comments of any of my YouTube videos. Just start it with thoughts on, like, for example, there's a few thoughts on Brad Arthur being fired, thoughts on Isaiah Papali'i leaving the Tigers, thoughts on, who should be the number 6 for Queensland, stuff like that, guys, and we can get into it, guys. And I love this one, guys, because it's interactive with you. I love, like I said, the main thing I love doing these videos and doing YouTube and stuff is interacting with you guys and having good chat with you guys as well. So first one, Camron Munster is out. He's gone skis, his hip's gone, and his replacement, who's it going to be, was the first one. So I did a poll, guys, and you guys seem to be set on Ezra Mam over Dearden, guys. How many people have voted so far? 650. Look, my thoughts on this is there's no wrong answer. Like both are great. Both are great. I think both would do a pretty damn good job. However, I do have my opinion on it. But first, let's just compare the pair. All right, compare the pair. Let's have a look at their seasons to date. Actually, let's do these side by side. All right, so let's do these side by side here. All right, 11 appearances to 10, 5 tries to 6. Hopefully, you guys can see both of these. 4 dropouts, 1 for Dearden, 3 for Ezra Mann. I think he did all 3 of these in one game, if I'm not mistaken. I remember him getting at least 2 in one game, so I think all of these might have been in one game. Attack, so Dearden 3 try assists and 5 line break assists. To Ezra Mann's 8 try assists and 10 line break assists. Tackles made 233 to 150 from Ezra Mann. Tackle efficiency 89% to 76%. Average running meters for Dearden is 93, and average running meters for Ezra Mann is 89. And fantasy points, Dearden's killing him. Dearden's killing him. Look, I like Ezra Mann. I like Ezra Mann because he can get you from anywhere offensively. Like so many of his tries or his breaks and all this sort of stuff is from almost. They like to attack from like almost around halfway, even slightly in their own half, sort of thing. And this number here is a little bit deceptive because he has games where he runs like quite a lot because he does make long breaks and all that sort of stuff, where Dearden sort of gets his 93 run meters with no line breaks or no long range anything. Dearden's 93 meters is like hard, tough carries sort of thing. But to me, the big difference is, and why I would lean towards Dearden, is number one, he's done it before. But this number here, like, I didn't realise how poor a defensive defender Ezra Mann was, because he is actually quite built. He is strong. He's actually got nice tackle tech, and he levels, dude. So leading into this season, I actually thought he was I had him as a good defender. And I think it was Brandy was saying in a thing, I think it's before they played Penrith. Funny, Brandy is obviously at Penrith, and he sort of said, he's a defensive liability. And I was like, oh, that's strong words. That's strong words, sort of thing. And then I went and looked, and I was like, oh, he misses a lot of tackles. And then in that game, Nathan Cleary gave him an absolute bath. Like those double fake drop-offs and then hitting short, going like Ezra Mann looked like he hadn't played footy before in that game. His defensive reads were so off, and it's not hard to make them either, especially against a crazy player like Nathan Cleary. He's the best half in the world. So I do get it, and especially when you're younger as well. Like there is an element to gambling, but obviously with experience you get it better. Like if Cleary's running along the line and he lifts and turns the ball inside, like you do have to make a decision. You know what I mean? And you're going to get it wrong sometimes, even if you're an awesome defender, sort of thing. So don't get me wrong, but he almost made the wrong decision every time, and it just leaked points. It was actually it was an absolute clinic from Cleary. And if we have a look at the missed tackles, I was actually pretty shocked at this. So this is missed tackles for the year. So we've got Mitch Kenny on top. I would just for anyone that thinking Mitch Kenny's a bad defender, he's not. A lot of this is shooting off the line and putting pressure and clipping blokes and almost making them change direction. So Fish and all that have a clean shot and can hit and drag. Definitely not the worst defender in the comp, Mitch Kenny. Reed Martin and Drew Hutchison are. Ezra Mann there at fourth. That's 45 missed tackles in 10 games, and it's a lot. It's a lot. There was another game as well. I can't remember which one it was, but he got spotted up quite a few times, sort of thing. And a good offense. I mean, Queensland are lucky Cleary's not playing, because I think Ezra Mann, if he was in and he got picked and Nathan Cleary was on his edge, could be in trouble. But yeah, we'll scroll down and try and find. Hopefully you guys can see this. Maybe it's actually, I'll put it back to the big screen. We'll scroll down and see how long it takes us to find Dearden. So Ezra Mann's fourth, not the top 30, not the top 40. There he is, 41. Solid. So 28 missed tackles compared to 43 over 10 games. I mean, yeah, pretty goddamn different. So yeah, State of Origin, there's so much creativity in the Queensland team. I don't think they need all that offensive flair from Ezra Mann. So, I think they're better off going Dearden. He's also been there. Even though he's not in great form. If you're just looking all right, pick the player that's in the best form right now, you're going Mann. But you're not. At State of Origin, it's a bit different. You're not just trying to pick the best possible team you can pick. Sometimes you have to just pick a player will do a good job. And I know Dearden will do a good job. Ezra Mann, I think he probably would do a good job, but I'm not sold on it. I wouldn't put my house on it, sort of thing. So I'd go Dearden in this situation, guys. But like I said, there is no wrong answer. I think both would be awesome. I really do. All right, so next one, guys. I can't remember who wrote this one, but it was just thoughts on the Brad Arthur sacking. I won't go, we'll just whip through these, guys. I don't want to sit here and chat on for 20 minutes on each subject, guys. I'll just give my thoughts on it. I think Brad Arthur's an awesome coach. Good. Apparently he's an incredible guy. Apparently there was players circling the block of his house that night after he got fired, wanting to come and see him and all that sort of part, Junior Paulo and all that sort of thing. You know what I mean? And he's on, last night on 360, he was actually sort of talking there, he has created a lot of rep players. He's done a lot of really good things with a lot of individuals and stuff like that. And I think he was a little bit let down by his roster. I think it was more last year was more disappointing than this year. It got to the point where it's all right, you have to make a change, sort of thing. But I have no doubt. Normally when a coach gets sacked, I remember when Seabolt got sacked and a few other guys get sacked, I'm like, will he even get a job again? And I know Seabolt has probably. But you're just thinking that, geez, I don't know if anyone was going to want this guy. Sort of thing. I have no doubt he's going to go into another club and do great. Whether it is going assistant coach first, then into the head job again, I don't know. But I think he's a legend. I actually think he did a lot better job. Just put it in perspective, they made the grand final in 2022. They did not have the second best roster. So how do you get to the grand final without the second best roster? I had them about the 6th or 7th best roster that year. Well coached, so he obviously can coach, sort of thing. So, yeah, he'll be just fine, guys. But yeah, it's pretty harsh, and yeah, Parramatta really have to nail this next coach seriously. And they've got Trent Barrett in the meantime, who I'm pretty sure is the worst coach of all time, percentage win wise. So, yeah, I don't know how Parra will go the rest of this year, but hopefully they sort it out, man. A strong Parramatta club is good for the NRL. It's a good big club out there, guys. All right, so thoughts on Wayne Bennett. Look, I totally get why Wayne Bennett did it. I totally get why South Sydney Rabbitohs made this deal. I totally understand it. I get it. It makes sense. But at the same time, I personally feel like it's a lateral move from both of them. I would have loved seeing Wayne Bennett at Parramatta. I think it would have been a much bigger story. I think he could have extracted more out of that team than he could with the current roster at the Bunnies. I just feel like it's sort of a lateral move from both. Sort of thing, and the way I'd see it is, right, they signed him for 3 years. Bunnies roster's almost to blow them up, so next year they've got so many of these same players still contracted, so I don't think they're really going to improve a whole heap next year. This is best case scenario for me. It's sort of next year's probably going to be a blow them up, see where we go, and get rid of the flick off players we don't want anymore. Next is probably the second year will probably be like getting them back competitive again, and then it's third year when they're going to be competitive again, and then he's leaving again. Well, that's the end of his 3 years. I don't know. I don't think Wayne Bennett will make bunnies awesome next year. I think it would be more of a 3-year sort of process sort of thing. So, yeah, I don't mind it. I don't not like it. I just feel like it's, I don't know, I just feel like it's a lateral move. I was like, when it went down, like when I heard he was going to Parramatta, I'm like, man, that would be so sick. I'd be so interested to see what he does with this Parramatta team on a 40-year premiership drought and a pretty good roster. You know, a top 8. Parramatta have a top 8 roster. Chuck Wayne Bennett in there, see if he can weave some of that magic. And when he went to the Bunnies, I was like, oh, okay. There's no natural excitement there. I was like, okay, cool. He's going to be there for 3 years, probably get them competitive by the final year. So that's sort of my thoughts on that one, guys. Sort of back to the Parramatta Eels, guys. Thoughts on Zach Lomax going, like, possibly what? Someone, I wish I wrote these down. I had them all written down somewhere, but I lost them. I'm moving house. You know, his thoughts on Zach Lomax possibly backing out of his deal at the Eels. I don't think he will, and this is just purely speculation. I don't know him, don't know anything like that. I was chatting to a guy, like a hardcore Dragon supporter at Magic Round, and we had the same. I had this opinion probably a month or two before. I actually don't think I do think he's fed up with the Dragons a little bit. I think he's actually fed up with Ben Hunt. I don't think they're seeing eye to eye at all. I just think he wants to bounce out of the Dragons, partly because of the Dragons and partly because of Ben Hunt. Like, I was watching his body language. We all saw the clip that went up on socials when he was like screaming at Ben Hunt to challenge the call sort of thing. But that was one thing. I watch it quite closely because usually I have Zach Lomax is in an anytime try score. So usually I'm watching quite closely. And every time Ben Hunt kicks the other side, Zach's arms go up. I've seen him spray, like, bro, he's spraying his captain on multiple occasions. I've seen him, like, just in back play, just, like, yelling and pointing and stuff like that. And it is just footy chat. Like, that does happen, but it's happening a lot. And when this hardcore Dragons fan said, I think he wants to bounce from Ben Hunt, I was like, bro, me too. Like, no one else has been saying that, but I genuinely don't think he likes Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt is one of those dudes, I feel like, I don't know why. Like, I don't mind him. He's cool, but he's, you know, sometimes he's just a dude you just don't like, or, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? He seems like one of those dudes. Like, he could rub you the wrong way for absolutely no reason. Like, I just don't like that. I'll just, you know, people with a punchable face. Yeah, a bit like that. I'm sure he's the nicest bloke on earth and he's a good dude and all that sort of stuff. But something about that dude, I don't know what it is. But handy footy player. But I think Zach will honour his deal just to get out of Dragons, Ben Hunt situation, and I think he'll go there. I still think it's a better situation, and like I said, if they nail this coach, I still think Parramatta can go good. I mean, especially if they land Blaze Talangi as well. I've always said I love Clint Gutherson, but I don't think they're a genuine premiership threat with him there. I just feel like you need a bit. If Clint was just that bit bigger, like if Clint had everything he does right, but he was built more like Teddy or Dylan Edwards, where he could just really get the sets rolling. Like how you start your sets now is so important. All the most successful teams, all the best teams get their sets rolling so nice from the back, sort of thing. It just like defense wins comps, and if you can keep your middle as fresh as possible. And a lot of people were sort of saying, oh, Mika Sivo doesn't look like he's not getting the meters he needs. Normally, it's because they kick it to Clint. Clint gets ragdolled, dragged back, put on his back, and that's slow play the ball. Now the whole line's set and they can just smack Sivo. If you actually watch Sivo never gets one-on-one on his second carry. Like, never. It's always three middle forwards smacking him. So, I think if they can get that Blaze kid going, they get a good coach, everyone stays healthy and stops, doing the Dylan Brown honks and all that sort of stuff. I actually think they can be relatively successful sort of thing. So I don't think Zach would be too panicked sort of thing. I think he'll be fine. Yeah, I've got to stop saying sort of thing. A few people have been messaging me. They're like, bro, you say sort of thing so much. I'm like, man, I know. Sort of thing. All right, bombshell. Isaiah Papali'i set to spark bidding war with early exit, so exiting out of his final year. So I read into this a little bit, guys, and I will sort of break it down. $650 a year, so they got him at a pretty good price. I can see why Parramatta couldn't hold him. I remember they were sort of saying Parramatta didn't offer him enough. I mean, Papali'i only really came good that grand final year, so for them to be like outbid or even match the Tigers at $650 would have been a bit of an ask, because they took a risk on him, man. He was pretty cheeks at the Warriors, so they really built him into that. So I get why Parramatta didn't match that $650. I guess you could sort of say, especially with Regan Campbell-Gillard and Junior Paulo on a pretty fair wicket. So essentially, what I read into this was, obviously they've signed what's his bloody name, Jerome Luai, on a big wicket, a big wicket, and now this Lockie Galvin, is it Galvin? Yeah, he's come along, and they're sort of like, oh, we're going to have to re-sign him too now. You know, I don't think they were anticipating having, because he's going to want a lot. He's nice. He's real nice. So I think they're just trying to trim some fat from what I've read, and I think they could probably, in a losing team, like they're not doing that great, I think they could find an edge back rower, middle, whatever. I know he played lock last week. That can just sort of run hard and tackle hard for less, and then that sort of saves them 200-300k. You know, they could probably get someone to do a similar job that Papali'i's sort of been doing. Like, he's been good, but not $650 good. If they can get a guy to sort of at least do 80-90% of what he's doing on $250, like maybe he's a young up-and-comer, a junior or whatever, you know, possibly that's their thinking maybe. Who's those kids? They've got quite a bit of depth there. So the Fanu, they had a few good. This Pole guy's good, but they do have a few in their juniors and stuff like that. A few big edge. The other Fanu, they got a few good edge guys there. So that's sort of what I read into it. It's not so much that they want to flick him. It's not so much that he wants to bounce. It's more like they need more room in their cap. They've overspent on Luai. Put it this, if they didn't sign Luai and now they're like, oh, we're just going to invest in Galvin, I don't think that he'd be going anywhere. But look, man, I wonder where he's going to end up. Let's give us a look at who needs a good rower, second rower. Parramatta probably don't. Oh, he'd probably go pretty good at Para. Dargans, Bulldogs are sorted. Cowboys are sorted. Seagulls are sorted. Storm are sorted. Raiders possibly. I mean, they're pretty stacked there. Whitehead is 35. Not a huge amount of other good, like, you know, elite second rows, I guess you could say, but not. Sharks are sorted. Penrith, Sorensen's getting pretty old, possibly. You know, Sorensen's getting up there. That could be one. Possibly Parramatta back. Rabbitohs could probably use him. Who are Broncos going now? They're going Piakura and Ricky. Yeah, they're probably sorted. Titans are actually pretty damn sorted. Warriors could maybe. Dolphins are pretty sorted too. So not many teams screaming out for a blue chip second rowers, but there's a lot of teams that would take him if they got him at the right price. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even Knights are pretty sorted there too, but I don't know what's going on there with Frizzell and stuff. But one thing that shocked me, he's only 25. I feel like he's been around a lot longer than that. So you get a good 7 years out of him if you're, you know what I mean? Like, prime 7 years. Like, second rowers are good till they're 32 now. They can play on longer, but yeah, I'd almost say your primes from, as a forward, would be from 24 to 31 would probably be your absolute prime. You know, you got your man strength at 24, 23, 24, 22 if you're an Islander. And I think he's good. But yeah, possibly Parramatta. So they've got Sean Lane there. Yeah, maybe he goes back to Para. I mean, Cartwright's sort of playing out of position there, even though he's been pretty brilliant. But possibly he goes back to Para. Who knows? I don't think I'll offer him $650 though. We'll have to wait and see. And that's it, lads. Nice and short. Not a crazy amount going on in the news today. Like I said, guys, If you do have any questions on anything that's going on, drop it in, thoughts of. Make sure you subscribe, guys. Trying to hit 10K soon. Yeah, if you do want to follow us on Dabble with all my punts and stuff like that, make sure you follow us there too, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.